Good morning, everybody. Little video about how to fix the problem we've been having in Netlabs. It's not a permanent fix, but it's a simple way to get around the issue so that you can actually use Netlabs and complete your assignments in there. I think it's just much easier than me trying to make up a new assignment every week. So there really are just 4 steps that you need to go through, and I'll demonstrate these for you. Let me bring this out here. So these are the 4 steps that you need to go through. And by the way, I want to shout out for Kyle, who's in our class, who was the person who figured out where the problem was originating. And it's on the Apache server, on the classroom server. So congratulations to him. We'll talk about how he went through the process in another lecture, but how you solve the issue, just so you can complete the assignments, is when you log into get your session up, the first thing you'll do is follow your instructions. So in this case, I'll be setting up this one. So the instruction is to log into server 1 and then run lab team bridge setup. And we know that that will fail, right? So that will fail. So to get around that, we need to make a slight modification to the Apache web server on the classroom computer, the one you normally don't use. After you log in, once again, I'll demonstrate this for you in a minute. After you log in, you're going to SSH as root. So this is what I want you to do: SSH as root to the classroom server. That's the command that you'll be using. The password for the root account, because you are logging in as root, is Asimov, just like the author. So you'll log in, to the classroom server, SSH over to the classroom server as root. Once you're there, you're going to open up this file in an editor, whichever one you'd like to, and add this to the bottom of that file. It has to be typed exactly like that, right? So Linux is case sensitive, and those parameters will not work if the case is off. So if you get an error message, then more than likely there's a typo someplace. After you've completed step 2, adding that to the file, save the file, make sure it's saved. That's an easy mistake. Save the file with that change. And then step number 3 is go ahead and restart Apache. And then you notice I have a step number 4 down here because this is critical. Make sure you exit out of that SSH session, because after that you'll be on the classroom server where the instructions will not work. So it's easy for that to happen. It's happened to me many times. So make sure you're exiting out at the end. And I'll post a link to these instructions too. All right, so let's go ahead and go through these instructions. I thought I already had it spun up here. I guess I don't. All right, so I'm going to spin up the classroom server. That's what I need to go. Not the classroom, I'm sorry. I'm going to spin up server 1. That's the one I need to start up for my lab. You'll start that up. And you could log in. You don't have to SSH, right? So everybody by this time in this class, you know you can just start up the classroom server and log in directly with that password too, right? But I think it's just easier to SSH in. So starting up server 1, we'll get that going. It boots up, and then I type in my password. I'll open up a terminal. At this point, you could open up 2 terminals if you want to. If you get nervous about this stuff and forgetting to exit out of the SSH session, which does happen, you can open up 2 terminals, one for your lab and then the other one to SSH, and then close it. But the key is get out of that. All right, so we'll SSH. I'm logged in as root. That part doesn't really matter right now, so I'm going to SSH as root, put the @ sign, and I want to go to the classroom server. All right, so accept the key. Now, you have to do this every time, and that's because the image in VMware is basically recreated every time you spawn one of these labs off. So the original image, what they call the golden master, is Fuvard. That's the one where we keep getting this problem from. So until I can get in there and fix the original golden master, we just have to do this for every lab. So every time you go in here, you'll do this 3-step process, and it really does not take much time at all. So for instance, SSH in, put in the password. Once I'm in there, I'm going to open that file. What is that file? 8, okay. So just open that file, go down to the bottom of the file, and then just add that information in there, right? So you're basically telling the system not to use certificates. That's where our problem is, and we'll talk about that some more. So once again, make sure that what you're typing is exactly what you see. And then the space and the word off, right? So just verify it. We'll just take a quick look at it. I know I make typos all the time, so space off. Once that's done, then system control, restart HDBD. And if you get an error message here, that means you got to go and check it out, but we didn't. So it's probably done. Here's the big point. Get out. Exit out, go back to your desktop on server 1, and then go ahead and proceed with the lab. So let's go ahead and see what they're asking me to do. So server 1, as student, we're going to type lab team bridge setup. And I'll do that. All right, type that, put in your password, and boom, success. So I've actually went through the lab and through the grading process, and it worked just like it's supposed to. Bravo. So that's what we'll be doing until I can get to the machine without blowing up the whole thing, because the problem is not really the VMware side. Sometimes the Netlabs side is a little buggy with these things, and I really I'm a little nervous about going in there and pulling it out and then not having any labs available. So this is a real easy way to get things up and going. All right, after you're done with that, follow the assignment. There are 2 lectures I'd like you to watch. Part 1 deals with the basic commands, so like ifconfig, IP, nmcli for setting up basic connections. And then part 2 deals with the more advanced items like teaming and bridging. So please watch both of those. There's also some Red Hat documentation here that explains it, and actually is good documentation, by the way. It's not bad at all. I only asking you to read parts 5 and 6. Read whatever you want. And then just complete the 3 assignments here, and then submit the completed screenshot for Lab 3.7. And that's it. All right, well, sorry about all this in the beginning of the semester. Unfortunately, things went a little haywire there with the classroom server, but as far as I know, it's happening to everybody who's using this particular image. So we're not the only ones that's having this problem this semester. All right, everybody, well, contact me if you need any more help. Thank you very much. Bye now.